I'm Ben Isaka, Marjon Sports Officer. We are at the lovely Whitsand Bay, one of Plymouth's local beaches, and I'm joined by the one and only two-time European champ, Emily Currie. Thank you for coming down today. We have a lot to get through, obviously, but I guess we'll just go from the beginning. So how did you get into surfing? Where did it all start?
I started quite naturally, grew up on in Bude and spent a lot of time at the beach. So it was a really natural progression, and one summer my uncle took me and my cousin, and I just learned that way, got hooked really quickly, and then was just proper into it.
And obviously, you've gone from just picking up at a younger age to taking it pretty much as far as you can go. I mean, obviously recent success and qualifying for the World Tour, that's pretty much a pinnacle of the sport. So, what has it taken from you to get from early days surfing as a bit of a hobby to where you are now?
I think a lot of passion and love for it. I think you can't really do anything properly unless you're really into it and give it your all. So I think that's probably the main thing for me, and just hard work.
Yeah.
I really enjoy working hard at something and committing to something. So
she's pretty perfect. Talking about passion and joy, something I assume must be another passion and joy of yours is obviously sports science, being your degree. You've come pretty much to the end of it now. You're almost there, almost at the finish line. So I guess, if we move forward a couple of years from your early days to, starting university and university life, what's that been like? How did you get here? Why did you pick Marjon?
Yeah, so I actually had quite a lot of time out because I was just travelling, I was surfing, I was competing. So I basically had 7 years out, and then it was a case of being okay, where do I want to go to university? Now I'm not 18, I've got a life, I've I live in Bude, what do I want to do? And Marjon was kind of perfect because it was commutable for me. So the first year I commuted, and then I moved down in my second year and kind of fully embraced that uni experience. But yeah, the Marjon, a couple of things for it was the accessibility for me, but also actually their scholarship program. It was so good. Really, really supportive, and also the perks of it were really, really class. So for me, it was right, that is somewhere that I want to go. That's something that I want. I want to be able to continue surfing whilst I'm at uni. I don't want to just give it up. I'm not ready to. So yeah, and then I picked sport science because it was kind of natural because I like sport. And yeah, really pleased that I did that. I originally was just kind of I'll go to uni just to go to uni and get the degree, but I've absolutely loved doing what I've been doing.
And I mean, speaking of both scholarship program and academics, of course, I know Izzy Schembeck, obviously she's now working with GB Surfing, am I right in saying?
Surfing England.
Surfing England,
yeah.
Sorry. So I mean, that must be pretty perfect as one of the many perks of being a sports scholar at Marjon. That must be pretty nice.
Yeah, so I've been working with Izzy since my first year, I think, actually. She was a lecturer, and I remember just staying after class one day to just ask her a couple of questions about nutrition, and she's been just absolutely amazing to work with. My knowledge of nutrition and just it's just increased exponentially, and I just feel so much power now around kind of myself and what I'm kind of fueling my body with. So it's been a really good kind of collaboration. Happy
days. And then I suppose naturally looking forward comes your end of your time here at Marjon. This is almost done. What's next for Emily Currie?
So World Tour, 3 weeks time, fly out for that. So yeah, really looking forward to that. And then I fly straight on to the second stop in Huntington, come back, I've got Board Masters. So it's kind of quite full on with competitions. And then there's 2 more events on the World Tour as well. Then my plan was to go to Australia and try and get an internship because, like I said, I'm really loving sports science. And I think I really want to kind of progress my experience in that field. And I'd love to work with other elite athletes, whether that's in surfing, whether it's in another area. So I wanted to go out to Australia, try and get an internship in maybe the Australian High Performance Centre. I've had a few conversations with the head researcher there. So yeah, there's plenty of opportunities. I'm not quite sure. I think I'm going to, at the moment, just focus on my own surfing for a little while longer whilst I've got this kind of like amazing opportunity. I want to be able to give it my all. And then after that, not quite sure yet, but there's a number of options and hopefully I can make something happen.
And I mean, quickly speaking of your own surfing, of course, run us through the multitude of achievements you've had. I mean, in the last year alone, buck surfing, obviously, from the start of this year through to now. What's life been like as a, student and having great success at so many competitions? How's that been?
Yeah, it's been really special. I guess I never really thought that going to university and competing in surfing would work so well together. But the support of the university in like the sports fed, the kind of extensions with time, with like flexibility with work, support of lecturers, I think it's just been, it's made everything come together really nicely. And yeah, like it's been definitely my best year yet. Like European was a big one for me. That was like a main goal, as well as qualifying for the World Tour. And of course, butts, that is always like super competitive. So yeah, it's been really, really good. And I actually don't think that I could have done all of these things without coming to uni. So the university experience for me has just been insane.
So break down exactly what your competitions have been like. You mentioned bucks and European champs. Go into depth, I suppose, about what they were like.
So bucks is just like this mega fun 3-day weekend in Newquay. Newquay's one of my favourite places anyway. Thistle Beach is just such a good location for surfing, and just having like so many students together, it's pretty insane. And I was really lucky with friends who from Marjon. Unfortunately, I was the only one that would compete from Marjon. Hopefully that will change like with the Surfers' Day Society. But yeah, for me it was kind of, I went down there and just had like some friends from Marjon come down, and my housemates, they're from Plymouth Uni, but they came and supported as well. So it's just a really fun weekend. And also I remember my first final in bucks in my first year. I competed with 3 girls who I grew up surfing with. So that was just like mega special. We're all in this same kind of situation where we're at uni, we're surfing together, and it was just, it was really fun. It is definitely one of the best weekends of the year. And the European Championships, that was like a week-long event in Portugal. And we had like a really mixed bag of waves, but I kind of, I went through all my heats. I was surfing reasonably well. I was really pleased and kind of like feeling quite confident. And then come to the way that it works, we've got this like repechage round. So if you get knocked out in the main round, you go into the repechage and get like a second chance. So I unfortunately, right at the last hurdle, got knocked into the repechage. But I think that actually, like reflecting on it, it was the best thing that could have possibly happened, because the next day, on the finals day, I surfed the repechage heat in the morning, and it just gave me this like boost of confidence following the previous day, because I surfed well, I'd surfed the waves, so I was like ready for the final. And then going into the final, I was just able to put it all together, had a quick kind of pre-heat like hype chat with Ben Skinner, who's my shaper, but also has been like mentoring me as well, and like played a massive part in my surfing. So that was really cool to kind of like have him there on the beach. He was also going for the European title, which he also won like back to back. So that was awesome. And yeah, he just gave me this little pep talk, was like, right, go in there, like this is what you need to do, commit to the nose, come back, just land everything cleanly. And went in there, and it just all kind of like worked out in that one scenario. And it was pretty perfect. It was a mega week, and also just being supported by the rest of Team England. Had my friend there, and I remember we had such a solid crew, and I remember coming out of the water because I got this like really long wave, and the paddle back out was like a bit long, so I ran up the beach, and a load of my teammates came and joined me, and they were like, "Come on, Em, like you've got this, like let's go," and that was just this huge like motivator to like get back in there and just go again. And it was like super special. Like I watched that back, and it like makes me quite emotional, just being like, I'm so lucky to have so much support around me. Really cool.
You mentioned Skin Dog, of course. You spent time with some of the junior skinners coaching. So I suppose that's even something else that you've done with your time at Union. You've been allowed to, explore. How's that been, working with those surfers?
Yeah, it's been great. I think like a lot of time in sport, the natural progression from athlete is to go into coaching. And I was never really certain if that was something I wanted to do. And I'd done surf school teaching and all of that, and that's definitely not for me. But coming to uni and having that experience on the course, because the course is super practical, but like working with athletes, I soon realised that actually that is something that I do want to do. So got this awesome opportunity with Surfing England to come on as a coach for the junior team. And that's been really, really fun, and kind of getting to know those juniors like a lot better, and went with them to the ISA World Junior Championships, which was straight after my World Championships in April. And yeah, it was just mega watching the kind of level of surfing that's now coming out of England. It's so much higher than when I was a junior, and that progression is just, yeah, it's great. And the like Lucas and Lila, Ben's two kids, he's also got Levin, who's coming up as well. But Lucas and Lila are in the team, and they were just absolutely ripping out in El Salvador along with the rest of the team. So yeah, it's really special to kind of watch people that you know and you've seen like from such a young age. I know that I sound like such an old person. People always say that to me, and I'm like, oh, but yeah, just watching them grow and watching them develop and becoming these amazing surfers, and just people, is just really special.
And you mentioned the course. Doing sports science myself, I know a little bit about what's been going on. And one side that it touches is the psychology side.
Yeah.
And then also thinking about the scholarship program, I know there's psychological support. So how's that been? Obviously, I mean, just thinking about your Bucks versus European champs, the kind of, with no disrespect, the difference in competition level, even difference in how you surf, going from shortboarding in Bucks to longboarding in champs. What's it like having that kind of support team there to help you through those kind of things?
Yeah, it's really special. And that's like, again, one of these other things that's just added to kind of like how I've been able to get to where I am now. I've been working with Sophie for 3 years. Sophie's also my lecturer, but yeah, she's been so helpful. She's been like, I would say again, like one of the pivotal turning points in my career to actually help me get to where I am, because the confidence now that I can surf with, because I know that I'm in a really strong mental place, is just, you go in knowing that you've got the best preparation. And we've worked really hard together to kind of create some like, I guess, coping mechanisms for any kind of stresses that I get when I'm out competing, and just actually in life in general. But yeah, it's kind of building that relationship with her has been great, because she's been super helpful. So I think, yeah, like you said, going from like one competition at home to to like a different standard, it all comes down to the same thing, like being in that like really positive mindset. So it's really good. You can kind of practice that at home, and then you can take that out to the next stage, and try and like recreate that.
Perfect. As I've mentioned, coming to the end of your time at Marjon, what is it that you're going to miss the most about your time being here?
I think one of them is being in Plymouth. It's actually such a great city. I really enjoy being down here, really enjoy spending my time here. Like my housemates, I've got a really good group of friends from university as well. I think being the main thing of being like in that environment, that learning environment. I really enjoy learning, and just being with a really cool group of people. So I think that will be quite a shift when I actually do finish, and then I'm like just totally without that. So I'll be pretty sad about that.
Mm-hmm. And then to any young up and coming surfers especially, I mean, given the area where we're in, there's so many people looking to reach the heights that you've achieved. What would you say to them if they're, not only looking to surf, but also about Marjon as a further education?
Yeah, I recommend Marjon to anybody. I think the fact that the location of it is really great. In Plymouth, it's like it's a really good place in the southwest to come. The facilities are incredible. The kind of the lab facilities, the training facilities, they're state of the art. And I don't think that there's anywhere else kind of locally that, or not even locally, but in the Southwest that's kind of got the same. But also the support that the sports fed and the university offer. It really has been such a key in my success. So I would highly recommend people to look at Marjon, because it's really supportive. It's really kind of a really positive environment to be in, and they will support you for your successes or for your training successes, competitions, anything like that, but also from the academic side, which I could definitely have not done without.
Perfect. I mean, thank you very much for your time, for letting us in a little bit. We'll let you go and get back in the water. But yeah, that's been it. That is the interview with Emily Currie. Finito.